find that one. The National Guard came through there and started locking up a whole lot of people. I mean, a lot of people got locked up as they should have. And then you're getting mad that they're picking up trash? Like, really? I mean, they clean up crime, they clean up the city, and y'all are upset? It really makes me think, like, all right, check y'all bank accounts. I want to see the bank transactions because somebody's paying y'all.
Every single Democrat senator voted against this bill. To be clear, this was the exact same bill that Democrats approved 6 short months ago in March, just adjusted for inflation. This is the same kind of clean funding bill that Democrats passed 13 separate times when they held the majority during Joe Biden's administration. So the American people woke up this morning and asked the obvious question: why is the government shut down right now? The answer is pure partisan politics being played by the Democrat Party. The Democrats shut down the government because President Trump and the Republicans will not force American taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegal aliens. America is $37 trillion in debt. We cannot afford to provide taxpayer-funded free health care to illegals who broke the law to enter our country. To put this all into perspective, the Democrats refuse to keep the government open over health care to illegal aliens and now have jeopardized critical health care programs for American citizens instead. Women, infants, and children.
I know it's kind of stupid. It's like, healthcare is really going to be wonky when the government shuts down. Like, it's really going to be bad if the government shuts down. Y'all know that. So if you're talking about protecting healthcare, making sure Americans have access to healthcare, that means you would not want the government to shut down, right? Right? It's a bit like, I don't know. It's a bit concerning how these Democrats play. It's like they literally talk about out of both sides of their mouth. And I'm just like, come on now, like, pick a side here. Like, do y'all understand that, if the government shuts down, this is going to F with our health care. But then on the other side, though, you guys are also going to be what? Okay with it? Talking about, oh, well, if we don't do it, it's going to cause a rise in premium of health care. Well, and here's the thing. A lot of people didn't agree with me when I said this, but I'm gonna talk to y'all like I'm a Democrat strategist. If y'all really wanted to give Trump a gut blow, y'all should have let those premium rose. You guys are going on speculation, right? But if you guys believe that you were right, you should have let the CR bill pass. You should have let those premium rise, and then you should have blamed it all on Trump, as you should. And be like, yo, we told you I was gonna rise. It rose. Here we are. Now, when it comes to December, the people are going to be on our side along with some of the Republicans because we were right. Do you see where I'm getting at here?
Children program.
I mean, it's like y'all have, like, the Dems have no strategy.
Community health center funding, Medicare treatment options, and other health programs are now all at risk because of the Democrats rejecting the clean CR. The most vulnerable in our country are being punished because the Democrats want to prioritize illegals over American citizens. And if Democrats actually cared about healthcare, they would applaud the actions taken by President Trump just yesterday in the Oval Office. He took a bold and massively popular action to improve our healthcare system. He announced the first agreement with a major pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, to lower drug costs for Americans. This is a historical achievement long sought by past Democrat presidents that only President Trump was able to get done. Also yesterday, while the Democrats were whining about healthcare for illegal aliens, President Trump signed a powerful executive order to supercharge American AI innovation and unlock cures for pediatric cancer patients in the United States. While President Trump took action to lower drug prices and improve the lives and the care of American children with cancer, again, Democrats are fighting to give healthcare benefits to illegal aliens. The Trump administration is fully committed to lowering healthcare costs and advancing policies that will save American lives. But right now, we need to keep the government open and funded. An individual.
I mean, yeah, in the last video I showed you guys, yes, they had the Pfizer CEO up there pretty much saying that, look, yeah, we are going to go ahead and bring manufacturing back over to the U.S. We are going to manufacture drugs here. I mean, the tariffs definitely did scare them. And as well, they're going to start lowering drug prices to most favored nation prices. So, yes, while ours go down, I mean, other countries might go up. But guess what? The best thing about this is, for sure, our drug prices will be going down.
And organizations across the political spectrum, across the country, agree with the Trump administration and Republicans. The labor union leader, the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien, sent a very blunt message to Democrats over their destructive antics. He said American workers are not bargaining chips. Senators need to stop screwing around and pass the House passed clean short-term.
And shout out to Jay. He said, it gets expensive cooking Dems. And chat learned nothing. Man, hey, I tried, man. I try to speak to some of these guys. Like, you know what? I try to find the most reasonable out of the, I guess, criticizing comments. And I'm like, you know what? This guy sounds pretty reasonable. Let me speak to what he's saying. And sometimes they feel me. Sometimes they do. And sometimes they just double down on, well, honestly, the TDS. Because sometimes they just can't see things working the other way. And it's only because, well, Trump's on the other side of it working the other way. So if it's Trump doing it, or if it's Trump's idea, they just say automatically think that it won't work, like automatically off the rip.
Funding bill.
I mean, I didn't even have that delusional criticism of Biden. I mean, like, yo, at least give the man a chance. Okay, yes, it effed up and it blows up in our face, but we at least give the man a chance.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the world's largest business organization, called to immediately pass the Republican clean CR, saying, quote, shutdowns are harmful to the economy, the American people, and our national security. And even Democrat Senators Cortez Masto and Fetterman acknowledged that their party is betraying the American people with this costly and chaotic Democrat shutdown. Enough is enough. Democrats need to stop sabotaging our country and holding the American people hostage in the country. Democrats need to do their jobs. The American people want the government reopened, and this is proven in a New York Times poll showing that 2 in 3 Americans say the government should not be shut down by the Democrats, even if their absurd demands are not met. The president and Republicans are working very hard to reopen the federal government.
Because the thing is, I mean, one, y'all can use that as a talking point in the primary. And the worst part about it is that y'all have a disingenuous argument. Y'all should have been making this argument about higher premiums at the beginning of the month. At the beginning of the month, y'all should have had a 30-day argument on this. Not last second. Y'all come in the last second or 1 week out talking about I want 1.5 trillion in spending. Like y'all knew that wasn't going to work. Hakeem Jeffries, bro, they knew that was not going to work. And I have no idea why anybody else thought it was. And to be quite honest with you, they could have like let things fall through, let Trump be wrong. And if he was ever going to be wrong, because premiums rising, yeah, that was all speculation. Like they were not 100% if that was going to happen. But they got to tell you something for letting the government shut down, though. So, hey, and the Dems, hey, man, they are blessed to have a group of people that believe anything they say as long as it's anti-Trump.
The vice president here has been crucial in this effort. We encourage all Americans across the country, call your Democrat senators and encourage them to reopen the government. That's what President Trump and the vice president want to do. And with that, I will turn it over to our great vice president, J.D. Vance.
Great. Well, thank you, Carolina, and good afternoon to everybody, and good afternoon to everybody who's watching at home. It's a tough act to follow, but let me just say a few things, then I'll take a few questions. Number one, Democrats say that they care a lot about lowering healthcare costs, and yet when the president took historic action to work with the drug companies to lower prescription drug prices, the Democrats did nothing to help us. In fact, we would have loved to have the Democrats helping us, but they didn't. They talk about doing something. They don't actually do the hard work of making it happen. What they have done instead is to shut down the government because we won't give billions of dollars to healthcare funding for illegal aliens. That is what has actually happened. To the American people who are watching, the reason your government is shut down at this very minute is because, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of congressional Republicans and even a few moderate Democrats supported opening the government, the Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for healthcare for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition. Let me say two other quick things, and then again, I'll take some questions. Number one, we all understand that Democrats and Republicans have policy disagreements. The Democrats want to do things. Look, when Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries were in here a couple of days ago, they made some suggestions that the president was more than happy to say, yes, let's.
You know, so funny. Like, here's the thing. The main argument that Chuck Schumer was saying that he believed that there wasn't enough funding for our Medicaid services. So healthcare providers were going to have to raise their premiums. Like I said, all on speculation. Like he had no idea of knowing that. I mean, nobody was signaling that. They just said it as an argument. And it's a very falsified argument. But I mean, hey, that's what they're saying. And that's what the Dems are believing, that this is all about healthcare premiums, when no, it's not. Actually, they had enough funding throughout the government. I mean, for the rest of the year. it's kind of funny how you guys try to say that, oh, well, there's not enough funding. Okay, if there's not enough funding, all right, cool, let's work that out. Let's what, you want an extra 30, 50 billion dollars, 100 billion, but to ask for 1.5 trillion, like, is this really about healthcare premiums? 1.5 trillion? Are you serious?
Sit down and talk about how we can solve the healthcare crisis that we inherited from the Biden.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, if they act for like 100 billion, 200 billion, I'd have been like, all right, Trump, come on now. You could have gave him that. You cut 930. We could reduce that down to 730. Like, come on, be reasonable. Well, adding 1.5 trillion, like, come on now. You can't even say it's about healthcare premiums at that point. And shout out to my man Bobby. He says this lady has the same nose job as Michael Jackson. And yo, I'm not even gonna lie, I thought the same thing. She does have the same nose as Michael Jackson. But hey, that's a natural nose though. You come on now. Like, come on, bro. Shout out Bobby.
Administration. But it's one thing to say that we should solve the healthcare crisis for Americans. It's another thing to say that we're going to shut down the government unless we give the Democrats every single thing that they want, which, as Caroline says, includes giving billions of dollars of taxpayer funding for healthcare for illegal migrants. That's ridiculous. You don't have policy disagreements that serve as the basis for a government shutdown. Let's have the conversation about how to fix American healthcare, about how to make healthcare more accessible. As the president showed, he's more than willing to act on behalf of the American people for this very reason. What you don't do is say, unless you do exactly what we want to do as congressional Democrats, we're taking hostage. And the hostage, it turns out, is critical, essential services that the American people need. Caroline talked about some of it. Let me talk about some more. Our troops.
And it's over the worst thing. It's like, y'all want to spend more money. These were the same guys that was talking about, oh, the big, beautiful bill is going to increase spending. Then you guys pull up 2 months later trying to increase spending. Like, bro, this got to be a political circus at some point. Like, y'all can't be serious. Like, 2 months ago, y'all was talking about, yo, we need to work on the spending. I thought it was about decreasing spending. Then y'all pop up 2 months later talking about, yeah, we need to increase the spending. By how much? 1.5 trillion. Like, bro, wait, what?
Not getting paid starting today because of the Chuck Schumer wing of the Democratic Party. We have people who require food assistance, low-income Americans who require food assistance, who will not get it unless we reopen the government, thanks to Chuck Schumer and his wing of the Democratic Party. We have flood insurance as we start hurricane season in the southeastern part of our country. That flood insurance is going to disappear because of Chuck Schumer and the far left of the Democratic Party. We need to reopen the government. Let's fix America's problems. Let's work together to solve them. But let's reopen the government before we have our negotiation about healthcare policy. That's what the American people demand, and that's certainly what the President of the United States wants. Let me make one final point. I think a lot of Americans are asking themselves, why did this happen? Why did the Democrats shut down the government despite, as Caroline said, voting on the exact same piece of legislation 6 months ago? And there are a lot of different spins that we can put on it, a lot of different answers that we could give, all of them.
Oh, because last time, I'm being honest with you, that boy Schumer got eviscerated. Everybody was calling him a coward. Everybody was saying he bent the knee to the Trump administration and that he's going to get primaried. We need a stronger leader who's going to fight back. And here's the thing, Chuck Schumer did the most reasonable thing. He was being pretty mature. He's like, yo, we need to keep the government going. He kept to his old talking points of, yo, if we shut down the government, it's going to hurt the people. Now he's starting to lean in more to the more radical side of his party, like AOC and Jasmine Crockett. And yeah, he went to go shut down the government. And it's only because he got such bad, he got such a bad remarks. Well, from the first time he approved the CR bill. So I see why he did it. But honestly, he should have had more he should have had more fortitude. He should have had more testicular fortitude to sit there in front of two women and be like, go screw yourself, man. I'm here for the American people, not your two satisfaction.
True. One answer I already gave is that they want to give health.
But that does seem to be something that politicians are missing on both sides. Testicular fortitude. But it is what it is. Shout out to Maine. He says, the Schumer showdown. Wild. Yeah, I know. It is very wild what Schumer is doing. And it is basically a showdown of like, all right, cool. And like I said, the Dems, y'all put yourselves in a bad position with Trump. He can literally sit there and F with you guys by shutting down your favorite NGOs and organizations, like, to stop funding them. He can go ahead and fire your favorite people if he wants to. So y'all put yourselves in a really bad position, and then you're gonna expect everybody to feel bad for you. Like I said, if you want to walk into the bear cave like dripping in honey and with 2 steaks in your hand, go ahead, but don't be mad when you get attacked. Like, that's all I gotta say to y'all. If y'all want to sit here and shut down the government and leave yourself at the mercy of Trump, don't get mad when he starts effing with y'all.
Care benefits to illegal aliens. That is true. They gave us legislative text that would have undone us cutting off healthcare benefits for illegal aliens. That's one of the things that they asked for. But the reality here, and let's be honest about the politics, is that Chuck Schumer is terrified she's going to get a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The reason why the American people's government is shut down is because Chuck Schumer is listening to the far left radicals in his own party because he's terrified of a primary challenge. So I'd invite Chuck Schumer to join the moderate Democrats and 52 Senate Republicans, do the right thing, open up the people's government, and then let's fix healthcare policy for the American people. Questions?
Mr. Vice President.
That's a lot. Matt Boyle.
Okay. Mr. Vice President, there's 2 key Democrat lies I would like to get your take on and see if you can address. The first is that you're seeing a number of top Democrat leaders, from Kamala Harris to Chuck Schumer to Hakeem Jeffries, claim that it is a Republican shutdown caused by Trump. The second is that they're out there now claiming that they don't want to give health care to illegal aliens. Can you address both of those lies from the Democrat Party?
Yeah, so on the point that it's a Republican...
Oh, guys, and if you don't understand how these illegals get, well, I'll be honest, you get Medicaid service, it's because when they show up to a hospital hurt in an emergency situation, we're not horrible people. We just won't sit there and let them just be there in pain. We'll take him in, we'll take care of him, we'll patch him up, and we'll send him on his way. But the problem is, they're an illegal. Like, most likely they're an illegal who can't afford to pay medical bills out of pocket, and they don't got Medicaid because, well, they're an illegal. They can't sign up for it. So guess what the hospital has to do? They have to charge it to Medicaid. Somebody has to pay. That's what we mean by illegals are low-key taking up Medicaid costs, because they can go to the hospital and they get paid on Medicaid because, honestly, like, what else are they going to charge it to? The hospital got to charge it to somewhere. And it goes under the guidelines of it because the immigrant can't pay it. So that goes under low income, and they're an illegal. They're not even supposed to be here. So what else can we do but charge it to Medicaid? And the hospital just can't take a loss, especially when they put thousands of dollars into care into this guy. So where do they charge it to? What? They don't just write it off, my friend. No, they don't do that. They got doctors to pay. They got equipment to uphold. So they write it off to the government, aka Medicaid.
Shutdown. Look, it's obviously a Democratic shutdown. Just look at the vote totals in the House, look at the vote totals in the Senate, and look at the President of the United States' own action and conduct throughout this crisis. Nearly every single House Republican voted to open the government, Matt. Nearly every single Senate Republican voted to open the government last night. And even to their credit, a few moderate Democrats voted to open the government. That's not a Republican shutdown when nearly every single Senate Democrat votes to shut it down and every Republican voted to open it up. It's just obviously not true. Now, you can disagree about a number of things, but you can't disagree about the obvious fact that Republicans voted to open the government. The president stands ready to sign that opening of the government. We just need a few more Democrats to join us in that effort to open the government. Your final question about illegal alien benefits. Look, the text is very clear. And I even saw, I think it was George Stephanopoulos in an interview with Mike Johnson, did a fact check that was totally rooted in baseless claims. It was basically Democrat propaganda. If you look at the legislative text that they gave us, they tried to turn on 2 separate provisions that would give healthcare benefits to illegal aliens. Number one, if you're an American citizen, you've been to a hospital in the last few years, you probably noticed that wait times are especially large. And very often somebody who's there in the emergency room waiting is an illegal alien, very often a person who can't even speak English.
Yep.
Why do those people get healthcare benefits at hospitals paid for by American citizens? The answer is a decision made by the Biden administration that the Trump administration, working with congressional Republicans, undid. We turned off that money spigot to healthcare funding for illegal aliens. The Democrats, in their legislative text, want to turn it back on. That's one thing. The second thing, Matt, is we all know that there are various ways in which the Biden administration waved away illegal immigration status. They gave parolees, they gave asylum claims to people who weren't really claiming asylum. And when they waved the magic wand of amnesty, giving millions of people legal status, even though they were in the country illegally, they also gave those people access to healthcare benefits.
I mean, through the TPS program, Biden, invited thousands of people in from multiple countries under the guidelines of that. You know what? You're an illegal citizen for now, but we're giving you 18 months, 18 months to become an actual citizen. And that was the Biden TPS program. Whoops, I forgot to mention one more thing about it. What was it? I think it was also, there was here as an asylum seeker. Here's an asylum seeker, but if they didn't gain that in citizenship in 18 months, then they would be switched over to illegal and be asked to leave.
So what the Democrats are engaging in is a sleight of hand. They're saying, no. Those weren't illegal aliens who were getting health care benefits, even though everybody, knows they were in the country illegally. It's a lie told by the Democrats that they're not trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. It's a lie that is obviously untrue if you just look at the text that they gave us. And all you have to do is understand that this is about who benefits.
And guys, you got to remember, emergency medical care / emergency Medicaid. Hospitals must provide stabilizing emergency treatment, and emergency Medicaid will reimburse for those emergency services, even for people who are ineligible for full Medicaid. This is a narrow category, okay? So it's not continuously full coverage, but yeah, these illegals know how to abuse the system. It's like, cool, they go in there, I need this emergency care, we have to give it to them, and Medicaid is going to reimburse them.
We think the American people's government ought to benefit American citizens. The Democrats are willing to shut it down to benefit illegal aliens. The contrast couldn't be more clear. Peter.
Thank you, Vice President Vance. The big holdup is, of course.
Oh, and shout out to my man Jet. Almost forgot yours. He said, right here. He said, and Trump's increase being cut down on tariffs. Well, yes, here Trump's increase been cut down on tariffs. I think you said BN. Well, I'm pretty sure you'll tell me what you mean there. But if you're talking about Trump cutting down tariffs, he has dropped a couple of tariffs. But to be quite honest, that 100% on pharmaceuticals, 100% on semiconductors, those are the most crucial things he's done so far. And I think that's going to get a lot of things moving. Actually, it already has.
That you guys say illegal immigrants are getting taxpayer-funded healthcare. Democrats say you're lying. That makes it feel like it could be a really long shutdown. Is this going to be a long shutdown?
I don't know. I can't predict what congressional Democrats are going to do, Peter, but I actually don't think it's going to be that long of a shutdown. This is a pure guess from the Vice President of the United States, because I think you already saw some evidence that moderate Democrats are cracking a little bit. They understand the fundamental illogic of this. Look, for years, every single one of us, we can remember Barack Obama on the White House lawn. We can remember Chuck Schumer. We can remember, Nancy Pelosi for years. In Chuck Schumer's case, for literally decades, we've heard them say, you don't shut the government down over a policy disagreement. Okay, Republicans think this thing about healthcare, that thing about healthcare. Democrats think this thing about immigration. Republicans disagree. Whatever those disagreements are, you don't shut down the government over it. For the first time since the Democrats have been in politics, they're now saying that unless we get every policy item that we demand, we're going to shut down the people's government. They're trying to take a hostage, and we're not going to let them.
And the administration announced today that $18 billion bound for New York transportation projects is going to be frozen, so it can't go to DEI programs there. But the timing of this, does announcing that today mean that you guys...
New York's bus transportation program does sound like, let's sound like they're getting ready for Mondani to win. Like, you know what? Just go ahead and give them the bus funding so we can go ahead and get these free buses and completely destroy, Dakota and, all the ride shares. Which is kind of crazy that Dems are actually in favor of that. Yeah, give us free buses, like kill all the Ubers and the ride shares. And when people are jobless and all that good stuff, we're going to complain about the homeless situation. I'm like, yeah, I know, because you're okay with letting the government compete with the free market. What do you think was going to happen?
They're going to squeeze
especially if the government can offer things for free, and then you're going to have overcrowded buses.
Chuck Schumer's home state until he blinks.
Look, I haven't talked to Russ about this morning, but look, I'm sure that Russ is heartbroken about the fact that he's unable to give certain things to certain constituencies We want to do everything that we can to help the American people. But when the Democrats shut down the government, we have to actually do a little triage to make sure the most critical and most essential services are provided. The government does a lot of things. Of course, Republicans think that the federal government probably does too much, but there are a lot of critical things the federal government does that absolutely all of us would agree need to do. Our troops need to get paid. Our air traffic controllers need to make sure that people are flying safely and on time. We need low-income people to be able to access the food services that are provided by the federal government. There are critical things that need to be saved. We're going to do everything that we can over the coming weeks, if the shutdown lasts that long, to ensure that people get the essential services that they need, despite the fact that Chuck Schumer has shut down the federal government. It's not going to be perfect because we are in a government shutdown. We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues. We don't like that. We don't necessarily want to do it, but we're going to do what we have to keep the American people's essential services continuing to run.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, and thank you for being here. Yesterday, President Trump said, as a result of the shutdown, we'll be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they are going to be Democrats. Has the administration...
And I will give you guys another thing that you also go ahead and get timed out for. I won't block you, but I will time you out to give you some time to think of an argument, because just saying that you're wrong without actually debating me, without actually telling me how I'm wrong, honestly is like, come on now. I'm low-key gonna time you out because obviously you're not paying attention and you're just sitting there not really, you know, listening to understand, but listening to respond. And if you want to do that and constantly text in the chat, well, I'm gonna have to time you out so you can sit there and think of an argument. And once you come back, hopefully you have an argument. Hopefully.
Asked agencies to target federal workers who they believe to be Democrats in these reductions of forces.
We're not targeting federal agencies based on politics. We're targeting the people's government so that as much as possible of the essential services can continue to function. That is the question the president has asked the entire government, is fundamentally, okay, we're in a shutdown. That causes some problems. The troops aren't getting paid. There's nothing that we can do about that while the government is shut down. But there are essential services that we want to make sure as much as possible, they still continue to function. That is the principle that's driving us forward during this shutdown. It's going to continue to be the principle that drives us forward. But let's be honest, if this thing drags on for another few days or God forbid another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off. We're going to have to save money in some places so the essential services don't get turned off in other places. That is the reality of the government shutdown that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have foisted upon the administration.
All right, see now, there you go. See, this is a decent challenge. You said my argument is that you're basing your assumption that buses will be filled up or rideshare drivers will be out of work on no data or facts. Actually, there is facts to that. Oftentimes, when you have something free, right, if you have a service for free, right, why would you go out there and pay for that service? Is like when people in tires, let's think about this. When those like little tire machines, right? Those start losing money once people start offering free air. Why? Because people rather get free air than have to pay for it. So that's just honestly it's human psychology. I mean, if you want to go off the facts of human psychology, humans are always going to go for something that's a little bit more free. They're always going to go for something that's more cheap, especially when there's no difference in quality. Like if I go get free air from Sheets, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same air as I paid $2 at Speedway. So if I'm going on a bus that's for free, like why the hell am I going to go buy a bus pass for $250, $350, whatever it is now to drive Dakota? Why the hell am I going to pay crazy prices on Uber if I can just go take the free bus? And then think about it like this. Who else is going to want to take that option, especially if it's free? It's human psychology, my friend. You just want to disagree to disagree.
Mean by they're going to be Democrats. He said they're going to be Democrats.
You've laid out a lot of...
And shout out Jay. He's like, got put in the corner. I know, man. Sometimes you do got to put him in the corner. Like, come on, bro. Think about an argument and then come back.
The pain and problems that would come with a Democratic shutdown. And yet in the Oval Office yesterday, the president said that a lot of good could come from a shutdown. So square that circle. Which is it? A Democratic-caused crisis or a Republican opportunity for reform?
Well, I think all the president is saying, Phil, is that he wants to make sure the American people's government functions as well as it can, despite the fact that we're in a shutdown. We're going to have to make things work. And that means that we're going to have to triage some certain things. That means certain people are going to have to get laid off. And we're going to try to make sure that the American people suffer as little as possible from this shutdown. That's what the president is saying, is that, yes, this is a bad thing. Obviously, the president is trying to reopen the government, but we're going to make things work as well as we possibly can, given the constraints that we have.
And then on those policy differences for the discussion and the negotiations to come later, during the Biden administration, Democrats twice voted to.
And shout out to Drum King. He's like, I gotta go. Remember, we all have opinions, but if you are rude and your opinion holds less value, if you're rude, your opinion holds less value. Facts. That's facts as well. If you're a rude, condescending dickhead, nobody's really ever gonna listen to you. And that's why. Let's be quite honest. And that's why you're most likely wrong. Because to be the most rude and condescending people who are the most wrong, who don't know at all what they're talking about. Bro just sat there and was completely wrong about that. He said, I'm doing off no facts. And then I said, I'm going off psychology. He said, well, no, that's also economics. You just pretty much proved me right again. You're saying I went off nothing, but you're pretty much saying that not only did I go off psychology, but I went off economics. Thank you for proving me right. I was like, y'all do it to yourselves. Only just being a condescending asshole is only going to make you look stupid. Like, try coming in here with some, I don't know, like, try to be polite. Try to say, yo, I respectfully disagree, and here's why. Like an adult.
Expand these Affordable Care Act tax credits, but those were supposed to be temporary, and they were slated to expire at the end of the year. As you sort of crack the door open to negotiation at a later date, would the party that ran on defunding Obamacare really negotiate about potentially expanding Obamacare?
Well, Phil, what we've said to the Democrats is that we're willing to have a conversation about how to ensure that Americans continue to have access to health care. And frankly, they should have access to better health care at a lower cost. We inherited a mess of a healthcare system from the Biden administration. It's why the president has worked so hard on the most favored nation status for prescription drugs. It's why we care so much about lowering the cost of prescriptions and why we're doing everything else. We're willing to have that conversation, but I think it's important to bracket the healthcare policy conversation because it's separate from the government shutdown. We think that we can open the government and then have the conversation about what best healthcare policy to fit the needs of the American people. That's all we're trying to do. That's all we're trying to accomplish. We've got to reopen the government first. Now, Caroline, I don't know how you do this, how you actually choose people, because I don't know 90% of the names in here. Is it just who's the best dressed? Okay, I really like your shirt. Go ahead.
And shout out to my man Hellbat. He says, saw 100K gone already. Lose, sick F 'em. All right. Wait, 100K gone already? What you mean?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You are president of the Senate. Can you talk about what you're doing, what the administration is doing to try to get other Senate Democrats to vote to open the government?
Yeah, we're talking to a number of our colleagues, Democratic and Republican in the Senate. I talked to a number of them last night. The president, of course, is talking to them as well. I think there really are two categories of demands that I've seen privately from congressional Democrats. I think on the one hand, those who are negotiating in good faith are saying, look, we just want to make sure that we're able to have a conversation.
And guys, I do want to let y'all know this is the Dems' fault. And this is why. All right, guys, hear me out. Because I've explained this a dozen times, but hear me out on this. When Trump shut down the government, right, with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they had that little spat in the Oval Office. What did Trump say? He said, okay, cool, we can shut down the government. You can blame it on me. Since I'm the one who wants the wall, I'm the demanding party. Great, blame it on me. I'm doing it for the wall. Trump took accountability, even though at that point, too, I disagreed with him. I was like, yo, what the hell is this? So I'm being consistent because I disagree with Trump for shutting it down over the wall. So why wouldn't you think I would show that same consistency with Schumer being like, oh, I want to shut it down over healthcare? Like, really think about that. Like, bro, they're the demanding party. They want 1.5 trillion in healthcare, and they're not getting their way, so they're shutting it down, just like Trump did in his first term. So y'all blamed him then. Y'all say he was being a crybaby then. Well, keep that same attitude with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Like, be consistent
with the administration about some of the,
which a lot of y'all are afraid to do. But hey, it is what it is. And shout out to my man HBI. It sounds like the Democrats really want the public to hate them by giving illegals free health care and expecting the citizens they represent to pay. I mean, dog, they want us to be honored to pay. They want us to be honored to pay for their services and outraged by them being deported. It's like crazy.
The critical needs
that flipped it on his head
that need to get fixed.
Oh, and shout out to the supporters, man. I appreciate y'all. We're almost at the goal, so shout out.
Fixed over the next few months. We recognize it's kind of absurd, and a lot of them will admit in private that it's kind of absurd to shut down the people's government over these disagreements, but just agree to negotiate with us in good faith on these issues. And of course, we're having that conversation.
And shout out to my man Jace at the Dems. If the Dems were an NFL team, they'd miss the playoffs. Boy, they miss the playoffs every single year. Like again and again. You know what? Like shout out to Myron Gaines. Again and again.
With them. Then there's another category, people who say, give us everything we want or we're going to keep the government shut down. We just write those people off because they're not negotiating in good faith. And frankly, we don't need them. We've already got 3 more Democrats last night than I thought we would get. And I think it's because they recognize the illogic of the position of taking the entire American economy hostage because they don't get their policy priorities. So 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Republicans last night. We need 5 more in order to reopen the government. And that's really where we're going to focus, is how to get those 5 additional Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. First 2 questions. Are there plans to meet Democratic leaders again in the coming days, or are you planning on plucking off senators one by one?
So that's the whole question?
No, I got a second question.
Okay, go ahead and ask the second question.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw.
Recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government. Most of the conversations, in my experience at least, have been one-off. We're also, of course, relying on some of our Senate Republican colleagues who have good relationships across the aisle. We're going to do whatever we have to do is the answer. And I think it's tough to predict what shape this negotiation is going to take over the next few months. But I feel good about the fact that Democrats already realize.
Sorry, guys, but don't worry, guys. I'm about to show you some of these sombrero memes because I'm not going to lie. They were pretty damn funny. Man, let's go straight to it. You can follow me on X at Set Media on X. So there you go. Let's get to the first one, though.
Donald, cut it out.
Hi, this is Taco Bell. How can I take your order?
Donald, cut it out. It's me. You got to take down that sombrero meme. It's embarrassing me.
Embarrassing? The sombrero makes Hakeem look better than ever.
Donald, this is serious.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll take it down if you reopen the government.
Look, I need these illegals to have health care so I can keep eating Taco Bell without feeling guilty.
There it is. You care more about illegals than you do our own citizens. You're cooking Americans the same way you cook your hamburgers. Raw, careless, and making everybody sick.
Damn.
I'm begging you, Mr.
Shout out AI, of course. I mean, bro, they did more. It got even worse. I mean, bro, this one was hilarious. Like, come on now.
Mr. President, the next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my...
I mean, come on, guys.
Offensive deepfake AI video. Yesterday, the president posted an offensive deepfake AI video of Leader Jeffries and me.
I mean,
yesterday, the president.
Hey, man, you know what? It's reigniting my love of Hispanic music. Like, come on, bro. It don't get no better than this. Oh, come on. Well, I might have to listen to some Hispanic music after this one. I kind of got the vibes have been set. But all right, back to our man, JD.
Privately, the fundamental irrationality of their position. I hope that they're going to publicly acknowledge it and reopen the government. The guy in the back, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You responded to a post on X of Chuck Schumer on the House floor back in 1996, railing.
And shout out to Jay's like, when AI is used for good, it's the best thing ever. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just too funny. And for those of you guys who are in the chat mad, I'm sorry, but come on.
That shit is hard. Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
It was funny.
Against illegal immigrants receiving taxpayer-funded benefits. You said Chuck Schumer once recognized that it was disastrous to give illegal aliens rewards for breaking the law. Now he wants to shut down the government unless we reward illegal aliens for breaking the law. Why has Chuck Schumer changed his stance?
You know, that's a good question. Actually, it's a very tough question. Asking me to get in the head of Chuck Schumer is not a place I particularly want to be, but my basic read on it is that the entire Democratic Party, the political leadership, not every Democrat nationwide, but the political leadership of their party has got it into their heads that the only way to be compassionate is to be compassionate to illegal aliens rather than American citizens. If you go back to what Bill Clinton was saying, even Barack Obama in some cases, what he was saying about illegal immigration 10, 15, 20 years ago, you would put them on the MAGA right based purely on their rhetoric around illegal immigration. So I don't know why they've gone so far to the left. I think it's bad for the country. I think it's bad for them politically. But our principle, all I can do is speak for the president that I serve and the country, the administration that I serve right now. We believe that the American people's government exists for the American people. That means the people who have the legal right to be here, and that's why we're fighting to reopen the government. And unfortunately, the Democrats are fighting to shut it down for the benefit of illegal aliens. And I'll take a couple more, and then I'll let Caroline. I'll go back to my day job, so Caroline can go back to hers. All right. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just going back to the sombrero. You said that the president's joking, but Hakeem Jeffries says that these memes were racist. What's your response to that? And just if I may briefly go off topic, Secretary Hegseth yesterday made an edict about no more beardos in the military. Just wondered what.
Sorry, what did he say?
No more beardos. Beards. Oh, sorry, it's my accent. Just wondered your response to that.
I didn't see that particular comment. I thought Pete gave a hell of a speech, and a speech that really is just oriented around returning the American military to the very high standards that it has had for virtually its entire history until Joe Biden came along and decided to lower standards. I think it was bad for our military, and it was bad for our troops. When I was a young United States Marine, I did not have a beard. I am now the vice president, so I get to do what I want to do. But I think Pete's trying to re-implement high standards, and that's a very good thing. On the sombrero thing, I mean, Hakeem Jeffries said it was racist.